can you talk about the loss of Andrew Porter for the rest of the Six Nations Championship and what his loss means to the Irish team in terms of scrummaging, ball carrying, and what adjustments you're going to have to make to your kind of overall game plan?
There'll be no adjustments really to the game plan, but he's a big loss. He's the modern prop forward. He's obviously an excellent scrummager on both sides of the scrum, but he's ball carrying for us. He's defending for us. He's a really good poacher as well. He's a great man to get penalties, to get turnovers at the ruck, and he's no nonsense as well, I suppose, to coach. He just gets on with it. He's very easy to work with and very easy to deal with. So he'll be a big loss. His bench will probably go through the roof in this period, which he'll be delighted with. But he's a big loss for us. But the way we've been training, and look, we saw it in the Argentina game in the autumn when guys started dropping out the day before the game, the warm up, and we lost James Ryan then just before half time. The way we've been training, a lot of the changes have been seamless enough and have been easy enough. So hopefully it continues that way. Obviously Cian and David Kilcoyne are with us at the moment, and we'll have a look at the guys now over the weekend and see if we can bring someone in.
And in terms of the next game, obviously that's England. What areas do you feel that you need to improve most on ahead of what is a really, really big test?
Oh, we need to improve everywhere. I mean, we're going away from home. We're going to Twickenham with a full crowd. England, I think, are just bubbling and are just on the verge of a big performance. So every part of what we do needs to be done better. We'd opportunities, I think, at the weekend to score tries, and we didn't take them just because of small little inaccuracies. And we did that as well in France, where I think we had opportunities, but we didn't deliver the kind of detail that we have delivered at times when we've managed to put teams under pressure. So there isn't any one particular area, I think, but everything just needs to be a little bit more accurate. I think one of the big things as well when we're away from home is just being calm. That's one of the big things for the lads. There's never any lack of intent or any lack of passion or emotion when these boys play for Ireland. It's just being calm, and the big occasion is an important part for us as well.
Have you learned, just a final question from me, from say the Stade de France, where you shipped 10 points in the first little bit. I mean, are you in a situation where you can't afford to be like that against England in Twickenham? I mean, it's a really cauldron, isn't it?
Yeah, well, everyone wants to start well. Fortunately, both teams can't get a 10-point lead. We did some things early on in that game which gave them access, things which were in our control, and that's a great thing as a coach. If you look at a game sometimes and you look at things that you're struggling to solve or struggling to figure out, it can be tricky. I mean, in the start of that game, we exited poorly with a really good kick-off take from Tyg Byrne. We exited with a poor kick, and then we left them take a quick line out, and there was nothing special after that. It was a lovely pass on the inside from Intermac, but and then the ruck penalty we gave away was all in our control as well. We probably went to ground a little bit easy and were slow to get to the ball carrier, and that's 10-0, and 10-0 away from home is a long way to come back, particularly against a side like France, or particularly against a side like England and Twickenham. So it's an important part of the game. It's one we'll always be trying to get right. If you can get that lead early on, it puts you in a great place.
Thanks, Paul.
Paul, how are things? It's Bernard here in Virgin Media. How are you?
Very good, thanks.
Just go back to Andrew Porter, Paul. Given what you said there, you outlined what he brings to the team, and I suppose the fact that he played all of our, 8 minutes in Paris. I know you never want to lose a player, but is he one of those players that you really didn't want to be losing at this stage of the tournament?
Yeah, you don't want to be losing anyone. I suppose we don't have the strength and depth maybe that other teams have, and we don't want to lose our big men either. He's one of our bigger guys, which is pretty important for us. And there's no doubt if you're starting, you probably get you probably get a few more reps than the other guys. You're probably a little bit further down the track in terms of your knowledge than the other guys are. But Cian has been going back playing, which has been great. David Kilcoyne hasn't as much rugby played, but he's gone back and played as well. And when we've trained, these sessions we've done against the 20s, and when we've trained, particularly those Wednesday training sessions, we've trained very fast. They've been very physical. They've been kind of a match intensity and a little bit higher, and I think the players have gotten great benefit from that. So as well as that, that's 15v15, so the guys have a lot more rugby under their belts than maybe their match minutes for Ireland would have you believe. But there's no doubt losing a guy like Andrew Porter, his first choice at the moment, is a loss, but it's a great opportunity for the guys. Cian, David Kilcoyne started the game against England 12 months ago. He went off quite early, and Cian came on and had a really good game. So there's great experience there. So it's a great opportunity for these guys as well. They're really enthusiastic guys, want opportunities to play. So we're very happy with what we have behind Andrew Porter.
And with 2 games to go, where do you assess where Ireland are at, and I suppose Ireland's chances of being that team that lifts this trophy on Patrick's weekend?
Well, we've a great chance. We're still in it, which is the most important thing. And we're playing some good rugby at times. There's real good ownership among the playing group. There's real enthusiasm. I think Andy's managed to keep them fresh in terms of how they've trained and how we've played and how they've prepared. And they really enjoy camp. So I think we're in a good place heading into the last 2 weeks. It's important to manage the players now that they're fresh heading into those games. I suppose the temptation sometimes is to work a little bit harder. I think Andy's really good at managing that, and the players are really experienced at managing that as well. I suppose a lot of the work has already been done. Those few days we spent in Portugal were great for us. So hopefully we can be, I suppose, fresh and full of enthusiasm now as we head into 2 big games.
Just might give us a quick update on Robbie Henshaw. We saw him pick some pictures of him training there. How is he?
Robbie Henshaw is fine. He's fine. He's no problems. He's passed his return to play protocol, so he's had no problems.
That's grand. And you just indicated there you would probably call up a couple of props. You didn't call one up after Tom O'Toole got injured, but that's the thinking for the start of next week, is it, to get a couple more props in?
I don't know if there'll be a couple of more props, but probably certainly one anyway. We just want to see how they go with their games at the weekend.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Hi, Paul. We'll hear from off the ball. Just wondering, new look second row combination against Italy last time out. Just your assessment about how Ryan Baird got on against Italy.
Yeah, I thought he did really well. He waited for his chances to come, and he took them when they came. He was excellent at set piece. He had a great steal in the line out early on. Unfortunately, it bounced back into an Italian player's hands. He probably, obviously, high on one tackle. He just has to drop his height a little bit, and he was doing a little bit of work on that today after training. It's normally a really good skill of his. It's normally a really good low tackler. But he was very good. He managed it really well. Sometimes I suppose players can get a bit of anxiety when they haven't the experience that other guys have. But he was very relaxed going into the game, full of enthusiasm, and he really delivered for us. I suppose it's hard to tell sometimes. From a forward point of view, there was uncontested scrums, so we didn't have any scrums to analyse and look at his shape in there. They'd won maul early on, and he was excellent in his body shape and how he set up to defend that maul, and he was pretty seamless, and that's one thing. I suppose it's a credit to James Ryan and Tyg Byrne and Ian Henderson and how they run the line out stuff that we do. They do a lot of walkthroughs. They try and make life as easy as possible for guys, because we've had a bit of a history of losing guys late coming into games. So he was excellent, and again, I suppose a little bit like Andrew Porter, there was very little little management in him last week. We were just very confident that he would be able to deliver in what he was able to do. And then, you know, when the chance came up, he's very good at chasing those block kicks. He's great acceleration over the 2 meters to try and get to the 9, and then, you know, I don't think anyone was going to catch him. It was a great pick up and a great finish for his try. So he did really well, and we were really happy with him.
Paul, you mentioned the importance of the accuracy when you go to Twickenham next weekend. Is the sloppiness maybe in some of the play in the loose, particularly when Italy went down to 13 players during the game last weekend, was that one of the disappointing aspects when you would have sat down to do the review on Monday?
Yeah, it probably was. It isn't sloppiness really. It's just guys maybe making the wrong decisions and forcing something. You know, we have to be happy. We have to be happy, I suppose, breaking teams down the right way and not trying to get it done. Not trying to get it done in a rush. You know, we did a little bit of that in the breakdown as well, where there was a combination of some old habits which cost us a little bit. So, for sure, for us away from home against Twickenham, there'll be mistakes. You know, there will be turnovers. They'll put us under pressure and force things to happen. We have to live with that and accept that. But we want to make sure that we're not giving them any access through our own mistakes.